the weight of the metal folding chairs at the table. She gingerly moved the chair and slid underneath. The cold metal produced a chill that ran through her body, but which didn't counter her hot red cheeks. Mrs. Michelson began the meeting and read the treasurer's report, and then Mrs. Burkhart read off the committee assignments for the carnival. A lady in a yellow cardigan with matching yellow hair asked about the carnival prizes, and since she'd been assigned to that committee. Mrs. Burkhart told her, "Well, you can do what you like. Just remember the healthy living policy." Healthy living policy, Anne ran the words around in her head as she furrowed her brows. Yellow Sweater replied, "Oh, sure, yeah, of course, no candy, but maybe stuffed animals or gift cards?" Anne, being new but not generally shy, ventured to raise her hand. Miss Burkhart called on her. "Yes." Anne uttered, "Excuse me, no candy? Isn't this a Halloween carnival?" The owls in unison swiveled their heads again and let out a collective gasp. Miss Burkhart said slowly, condescendingly, "It's a fall carnival, not Halloween. And we don't give candy for prizes, too risky." "Risky?" Anne replied. "Why, yes," the group leader replied. "Some candy has nuts in it, and it makes kids hyper. And if they eat too much, well, you know, they could get heavy." Anne felt her face get hot again. She pondered and she said aloud, not meaning to, "Well, what do you give kids for Halloween then?" She was secretly concerned about the 2 large bags of Snickers and Milky Ways in her living room, which she was prepared to toss into orange pumpkins carried by darling children the following week. Miss Burkhart condescendingly countered again, "Well, this is off topic, but you could give juice boxes or fruit roll-ups or pretzels, but you have to be careful with those pretzels because there are plenty of kids with wheat sensitivity. I usually buy some little toys or gift cards." "Gift cards?" Anne uttered. Miss Burkhart pulled up the reins and nodded to Yellow Sweater. "Got it?" Y.S. uttered, "Yes, sure." Miss Burkhart went back to the committee list. Anne sat quietly. Images of Halloween's past flashed through her mind. She remembered sorting through the piles of candy she had when she was a little kid, grouping it by like kind and eating all the best pieces first. She remembered her father being a barker in her school carnival and her mother wearing a giant cardboard pumpkin to collect money for playground equipment. Anne was jerked back to reality when she heard Mrs. Burkhart mention set designers and stage construction. Stage? Set designers? Anne felt like she was driving off of the learning curve and sailing toward the ocean. Mercifully, the meeting ended and she grabbed her purse and strode out. She now, after all these years, had a truly scary story to share.
Leslie Gruisbeck, you're next. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm good. I was teenager. Yeah. Woo, that was close. I know, right? It was like first cute ones, and then singing cute one, and then
So actually, Griffin, this poem that I'm going to read is a lot like your poem in some ways, except it's written by a man named Carl Sandburg. So see if you can see some similarities. This is called Theme in Yellow by Carl Sandburg. I spot the hills with yellow balls in autumn. I light the prairie cornfields orange and tawny gold clusters. I am called pumpkins. When dusk is fallen, on the last of October, when dusk is fallen, children join hands and circle round me, singing ghost songs and love to the harvest moon. I am a jack-o'-lantern with terrible teeth, and the children know I'm fooling.
Is Loriana here? Here you are. Come on, Loriana.
I'm horribly blind. So, I thought to myself, what's one of the most popular kind of mythological story lately, and I thought to myself, I really want to write a story about witches. And then I realized, no, I think people would more want to read vampire stories, because that's what it seems everyone's into lately, those vampire love stories. But I don't understand, why doesn't the vampire guy just turn the girl into a vampire? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, I wrote a short story about how the guy, when he does, he leaves because he's upset with himself. Okay, so it's told from the girl's point of view, the girlfriend who gets turned. All right. The transformation. I woke up with a headache that simply would not go away. When I finally gave up, I decided to take a shower, which helped, but only a little. I got out of my hot and steamy shower and threw on some jeans and an old sweatshirt. Then my phone started buzzing. I glanced at the caller ID as I answered. "Hey, Trinity," I said, feeling myself brighten up with the call from my boyfriend. "Happy Halloween," he sung over the phone. "Oh, right, it's Halloween." I ventured downstairs in search of breakfast. We said our goodbyes when I found the cereal. I sat down, slipping my phone into my pocket, and began to munch down. My little brother Braxton was playing with his creepy voodoo dolls. "Was that Trinity?" Braxton mocked and made kissy noises. "Don't you have a bus to catch?" Braxton stuck his tongue out and ran outside with his backpack bouncing on his back. I put my bowl in the sink and headed outside. My dream car was sitting on the curb, a '98 Firebird. It was black with a silver racing stripe. The window rolled down and Trinity leaned over a little. I walked swiftly to the car and climbed in the car and rolled up the black tinted window. I leaned over and kissed his cheek. He pushed me away with a pained look. "Sorry," I said, studying my shoes. "No, I am." He briefly looked away from the road to give me a sad smile, and then looked back. Last month, Trinity had gone to a concert which turned out to be a vampire attack. Most people were killed and few were turned into vampires. Trinity was one of them. Trinity hated himself and thought he was a monster. I worried about him and offered my blood many times. He always rejected my offer. He was too scared to try. "Callie?" I looked at him. "Yes, Trinity?" He seemed hesitant. "Callie, I... He looked deep into my eyes and blinked a few times and looked back at the road as we pulled into school. He parked in a garage in the back for vampires. Yes, vampires are widely known through town. I admit, it's kind of weird, but you get used to it after a while. I got out of the car and went around and planted a kiss on his lips and headed off to homeroom. School went by in a blur, and before I knew it, the 3 o'clock bell rang. After school, my activities ran late, and I decided to wait for Trinity instead of taking the bus. All I could remember was standing alone at night, waiting for Trinity. I wasn't in my house. Looking around, I identified it as the basement of Trinity's house. I was laying on the couch. "Trinity?" I called. No answer, but I saw a letter with my name on it. "Dear Callie, you looked beautiful under the moon last night. I couldn't help myself. I had to taste your blood. So I had to leave. I'm sorry. Love, Trinity. P.S. Good luck, new vampire." Only one thought went through my mind. At least love is eternal.
All right, that's good. I'm Julie Kane, and last spring, one of our former Argus editors, Sabrina Key, got married, and she had asked me to read a poem at her wedding, and I said, well, if you tell me a little bit about the relationship, how you met and everything, maybe I can write something. So it turns out they met at a Halloween party, and this is what I wrote. It's called How They Met for Hanno and Sabrina. In Hollywood, they'd call it meeting cute, a cocktail party, Halloween, his place. Fake blood congealed on the cadaver's face, the Duke of Darkness in a formal suit. Throw in a jealous date, a loud dispute, a streaking guest, a pirate giving chase. In all that drunken revelry, what grace made Cupid aim his little bow and shoot. One rainy evening after Halloween, they sat and talked until a restaurant closed. The Duke unmasked an engineer in jeans, the corpse a teacher, lovely as a rose. May we who bless their marriage be as wise to recognize true love beneath disguise.
Hello, everyone. I'm doing a poem I wrote myself. My name is Elizabeth King. I'm doing a poem called Suspense. I walked down a long, dark highway searching for you. Trying to hunt you down, I prayed on the flesh that beat breathless whispers on this silent street. Where are you hidden? Passing by wooden trees and fallen leaves, a sniper's night prone with thieves plotting on me. But I kept quiet, hoping they don't find me until at last I found you. How much farther am I, still cold or getting warmer? I don't know if I could take the suspense any longer. Sounds of the night haunt me. They tried to distract me, taunt me, to taint me, to break me, to erase me. Roses turn with gray stems and old blood faces. Grass can hold flames from friction. Owls ooh with wisdom. Turn back. Your faith is fiction, mere illusion, your mission. You won't do well with wishing, but I kept my vision of you. Where are you? The stench of you cuts like a knife. I bleed endlessly with the scent of you. To survive here, I need you, or I'll just die. There'll be weeping cat eyes with envy, silently laughing at my corpse cursed. If I don't make it to you, I just will burst. So where are you? I've been dazed. It's been days walking down this long, dark highway searching for love.
This is a poem that I wrote. It's called The Girl in the Black Satin Dress Standing by a Tree. I buried her in the ground today beneath the old oak tree. She's everything I was, but never chose to be. I buried all the memories in tear-stained pillowcases. I buried all the dusty pictures of forgiven faces. I buried everything that ever held her back. I buried her ugly heart. It was broken and it was black. Her ghost still tries to haunt me, but I just close my eyes. Her voice calls from the grave, but I tune out all her lies. I am the girl in the black satin dress standing by the tree. The dead girl buried 6 feet under is who I used to be.
I'm Jared Henderson. This is also a poem I've written. It's called Acid Trips on the Bayou While Riding the Wings of Crows, Whispering Nobody Fears What Nobody Knows. Paper cuts in the webbing of your fingers, rusted nails driven through your toes. An arachnid silk keeps your eyelids from a split, a mouthful of noise with no word spoken, nostrils filled with the fumes of hell. Feel nothing with your fingers but your own rotting flesh. And to the ninth circle, innocence is born, having no mother from whose arms it could be torn. Go play war with songless melodies, an age-old disease with no known remedy. I saw Satan in the mirror touching himself. I heard Lucifer's call with a voice that was my own. Zeus and Yahweh play in the closet. Cerberus and I play fetch in the hall. Doom marks the entrance to an ill-perfumed room. Love is rape. The jester balled up in a corner, shivering, snickering, snarling, weeping, rape the mother, kill the father. They looked to me as if I were zombie Christ, Eat of my flesh, drink of my blood. This disease I give unto you. Money is the root of evil, but in the mirror it spells live.